State Senator Andrew Chesney announces new legislation that he says will stop radical gender ideology from shaping Illinois law by defining transgenderism as a mental illness. Senate Bill 3842, if passed as is, would amend the state's Mental Health and Development Disabilities Code.
In a statement, the Republican senator says radical activists are confusing children and pushing irreversible, life-altering decisions on kids who are far too young to understand the consequences. The bill is awaiting further action in the Senate Assignments Committee.